Welcome to the Sky Commander Flight Brief. It's your mission-ready podcast for drone pilot training and aerial insights across Canada.
From Transport Canada rules to real-world drone ops, we break it down, take you higher, and help you earn your wings. Because here at skycommander.ca, we don't just fly.
It hints there's more to it. It's a masterclass, a deeper level, maybe a philosophy or a community focus, perhaps.
It's definitely intriguing, sets them apart from just, a basic tips show. Skycommander.ca is the obvious next step. Precisely. If you're thinking about flying a drone in Canada, boom, this content is aimed right at you.
Powered by skycommander.ca.
The elite podcast for Canada's drone pilot. Okay, let's get started.
You know that specific feeling when you hear sirens cut through the silence of your neighborhood?
Oh, yeah.
It's a primal reaction. You look out the window, maybe you see a plume of smoke rising 2 streets over, or the flash of blue and red lights reflecting off the siding of the house across the way.
It's the something is wrong, can I help reflex. It's built into us.
Exactly. And for a lot of people listening to this right now, especially if you're the kind of person who loves tech, that reflex is followed immediately by a second, very specific thought.
I know exactly where you're going with this.
You think, I have a drone sitting on the shelf. I can put it up. I can be the eyes in the sky. I can see what's happening before the fire truck even turns the corner.
It feels like the ultimate Good Samaritan move.
It really does.
It feels proactive. It feels helpful. But today we are going to completely dismantle that impulse. Because in the world of public safety, there is a massive, often invisible line between being helpful and being authorized.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are stepping into the cockpit, or rather, the ground control station of public safety drone operations. We've pulled together a massive stack of operational playbooks, aviation regulations from both Canada and the U.S., and some pretty heavy legal analyses on privacy and evidence. And the picture they paint is stark.
It's a minefield. That is the only way to describe it, and that's not being dramatic.
We aren't talking about the cinematic shots you see on travel vlogs or the toy you bought your nephew. We are talking about high-pressure operations where a single mistake doesn't just mean crashing a piece of plastic.
No.
It can ground a rescue helicopter.
It can ruin a criminal investigation.
Or get you sued into oblivion.
The stakes are incredibly high. And the biggest misconception we see in the source material, and you see this everywhere, is this idea that if you know how to fly, if you have good stick skills, you're ready for public safety.
Right. I'm a great pilot.
You're not. You're not ready. Stick skills are just the baseline. The real work, the hard work, is governance. It's about what you do before you even take off.
So let's start with the big mental model from our sources. They describe 2 distinct hurdles you have to clear before you even unlock the motors. They call it the 2 gates.
Right, the 2 gates. This is the anchor for everything we're going to talk about today. Most hobbyists and even a lot of commercial pilots only ever think about Gate 1.
Okay, so what's Gate 1?
Gate 1 is simply, is it legal to fly?
That's your aviation chart stuff. Am I near an airport? Is the wind too high? Is my registration current? All that basic pilot stuff.
Exactly. Aviation law. That's the easy gate, relatively speaking. But the source material argues that you can pass Gate 1 with flying colors. You are perfectly legal in the air.
A-plus pilot.
A-plus pilot. And yet you are totally illegal the moment you hit the record button.
And that's Gate 2.
That's Gate 2. Is it legal to record, use, and share?
I love the visualization of this as a Venn diagram. You have Circle A, which is airspace and operational rules, and you have Circle B, which is privacy, data, and evidence rules.
Right.
A legal public safety mission only exists in that tiny, tiny sliver where they overlap.
And that sliver got a lot smaller recently. And this is important. We have to look at this through the lens of where we are right now. It's January 2026. We are looking back at some pretty significant regulatory shifts that really settled in over the last year.
Specifically in Canada, right?
Yes, specifically in Canada with the April 2025 updates. The Wild West days of drone ops are, they're officially over. The rules have teeth now.
So our mission for this deep dive is pretty clear. We're going to unpack the best-in-class playbook for public safety drone operations.
Right.
We aren't just talking about how to move the sticks. We're talking about governance, those career-ending red lines, and the psychology of the veteran pilot versus the rookie.
Yeah, the mindset. We'll cover the distinct regulations in Canada and the U.S. because they are different. We'll get into the specific gear, what payloads you actually need versus what is just, marketing hype. And we'll walk through some high-stress scenarios to see how the theory holds up in the real world.
Okay, let's do it. Let's jump into that first gate. aviation legality. The big question, can I fly? And we have to start with Canada because our sources highlight a very specific, very strict rule that catches a lot of people off guard. It's called the perimeter rule.
CRR 900.08.
CRR 900.08.
This is a hard stop for Canadian operations. It's not a suggestion. In the Canadian Aviation Regulations, or CARS, Section 900.08, subsection 1, explicitly prohibits operating any drone over or within a security perimeter established by a public authority during an emergency.
Let's make that concrete.
Yeah.
If the police put up the yellow tape around a car crash or a building fire, the airspace above that tape is effectively a no-fly zone. For me.
Effectively, yes. For me, for anyone who isn't explicitly part of the response. The mnemonic we found in the training notes to help you remember this is perimeter equals permission.
Perimeter equals permission.
I like that. If there is a perimeter, the default answer is NO. You cannot fly there. Full stop.
But there has to be an exception, right? Otherwise, how do the police fly their own drones to map the crash?
Right.
Or the fire department to get a thermal view?
And that's subsection 2. It allows flight only if you are operating in the service of the public authority. That means police, fire, or EMS. But here is the trap. And the sources are very, very specific about this. What does in the service of actually mean?
Right. I imagine it's more than a beat cop looking up, seeing your drone, waving at you and saying, hey, cool drone, can you check the roof for me?
Much more. That is the helpful versus authorized distinction again. That cop on the street probably isn't the one managing the airspace.
They're not air traffic control.
No. Being tasked means authorized coordination. It implies you are part of the incident command structure. You have radio comms, you know where the other aircraft are, like the news helicopter that might be coming. If a police officer who doesn't control the airspace tells you to fly, and you hit a media helicopter,
it's on you.
That officer isn't the pilot in command. You are. You are the one who is liable. You're the one losing your certificate and maybe more.
And there was a big update to this recently, right? You mentioned it. April 1st, 2025.
Huge update. Transport Canada's AM, that's the Aeronautical Information Manual, flagged this change. The perimeter rule now applies broadly to all RPAS.
RPAS being?
Remotely piloted aircraft systems, drones.
Okay, so when you say all, you mean even the little guys. The sub-250-gram micro drones that everyone buys because they don't need a license.
Everything. This is so important. For years, there was this myth that sub-250 meant regulation-free.
The fly-anywhere drone.
People thought they could fly those little drones anywhere. That is dead wrong in an emergency. If the yellow tape is up, your 249-gram drone stays in the case unless you are officially on the team.
That is a crucial distinction. It closes that loop completely. There's no exception for the toy drones anymore in that situation.
None.
Okay, now let's hop south of the border to the United States.
Yeah.
The system is different, but the danger is identical. Here we aren't talking about cars, we're talking about TFRs.
Temporary flight restrictions. In the U.S., the expert way to think about a TFR is the sky putting up police tape.
I like that. It keeps the metaphor consistent.
It's the same principle. These are issued by the FAA. They pop up for wildfires, natural disasters, VIP movements like the president traveling, major sporting events.
It's a dynamic bubble of restricted airspace.
Exactly. And the rule here is the hard wall. If a TFR is active, you do not enter without specific authorization. Period. It's not a negotiation.
And our sources give us this great 4-part mnemonic for the U.S. legal framework. I want to unpack this because it helps organize the chaos. 1 in 7 flies, COA serves, TFR stops, RID tattles.
Let's break that down. 107 flies refers to Part 107. That's the standard set of rules for commercial drone operations. It's your license to fly for work.
So that's the baseline.
Right. COA serves refers to a certificate of authorization. A COA is what public safety agencies, like a police or fire department, often use to fly as a public aircraft operation or PAO. It gives them a bit more flexibility than the standard Part 107 rules.
Okay, so that's the official agency way of doing it.
Generally, yeah. Then TFR stops is self-explanatory. It stops the show for everyone who isn't part of the official response.
And RID tattles, that sounds ominous.
Remote ID, Part 89. This is fully in effect now, and it's a game changer. Your drone is broadcasting a digital license plate constantly.
Through what, like Wi-Fi?
Through a radio frequency and sometimes over the internet. The point is, you are not anonymous. If you fly into a TFR or near a stadium during a game, your drone is snitching on you the entire time. It's broadcasting its location, your location is the pilot, and its serial number.
RDD tattles.
It's perfect.
It really drives home the accountability.
But beyond just getting a fine, There's a safety aspect here that I think people underestimate. The sources mention the stop the show risk.
This is the nightmare scenario. This is what keeps incident commanders up at night. Imagine a massive wildfire in California or British Columbia.
Okay.
You have tankers and helicopters flying low, fast, and in heavy smoke. It is a complex aerial ballet with lives on the line.
And they can barely see.
They can barely see.
Yeah.
If the air boss, the person managing all those aircraft, spots an unauthorized drone or even just suspects one is there, they have to ground all air operations.
Immediately.
Immediately. They can't risk a mid-air collision between a multi-million-dollar air tanker and someone's drone.
So because you wanted a cool picture of the fire for Instagram.
Get it. The water bomber can't drop water on the fire.
Exactly. You literally stop the rescue. We call that a mission kill. Your good intentions just put property and lives at greater risk.
And that's why you say a badge isn't an airspace authorization.
Yes. Just because you're wearing a uniform or a police officer on the ground asked you to fly doesn't mean the airspace is clear. You, the pilot, have to check for that TFR. You have to check with the airport. You have to do Gate 1 yourself.
Okay, so let's assume we've cleared Gate 1. We are legal to fly. We're on the team. We're tasked. We check the airspace. No TFRs.
Yeah.
Smooth sailing.
You would think.
Now we hit Gate 2. Privacy and evidence. Can I record? And the expert in our notes calls this the third rail of operations.
Because it's the one that burns you when you don't see it coming. You can be perfect on your aviation rules, a model pilot, and still get sued, get your agency's program shut down, or have your case thrown out because of a privacy violation.
And there's a big difference here between Canada and the U.S. again, right?
It's massive.
Yeah.
A whole different universe. In Canada, the rules are incredibly strict. Transport Canada and the Office of the Privacy Commissioner, the OPC, they treat a drone camera like a vacuum cleaner for personal data.
A vacuum cleaner, I like that.
It just sucks up everything. Faces, license plates, even just a clear shot of someone's backyard that shows their lifestyle. That is all considered personal information. And you have a legal obligation to limit your collection of it.
So you can't just record everything and sort it out later. That's not a valid strategy.
No, absolutely not. That's surveillance, not operation. The guidance is to collect the minimum necessary. In the U.S., however, it's different. The FAA explicitly states they do not regulate privacy.
Really? That seems counterintuitive. So the FAA doesn't care if I film my neighbor's backyard?
Not as an aviation regulator, no. They care if you crash into your neighbor's backyard. But the privacy rules in the U.S. come from a patchwork of state laws, local ordinances, and most importantly, the specific policies of the agency you're flying for. So the trap for American operators is thinking, I passed my Part 107 test, so I can film anything.
And that's wrong.
Completely wrong. Passing FAA rules does not equal passing privacy rules. You have to know your local laws and your department's policy inside and out.
That leads to this concept of sensor discipline. I love this phrase. It sounds so professional, so military.
It is, in a way. It's the mindset that the camera is always loaded. Just like you don't point a gun at something you don't intend to destroy. You don't point a sensor at something you don't have a legal and ethical justification to document.
So in practical terms, what does that look like on a mission?
It means establishing a no-capture zone during your pre-flight briefing. If you're searching for a missing person near a residential neighborhood, you brief your team. We are not filming the backyards. We are not filming into windows. Our search area ends at the property line.
So you define the box.
You define the box. And you practice minimization. You record events, not hours of loitering footage. When you're just circling, holding position, waiting for instructions, the camera should be pointed at something neutral or not recording at all.
It's active decision-making, not just passive recording. I get it. And this all matters so much because of what the sources call the evidence triangle. I imagine this is where things get really sticky if a rescue mission suddenly turns into a crime scene.
Precisely. Let's play that out. You're flying a search and rescue for a missing hiker. You find the person with your thermal camera, but when the ground team gets there, it turns out they were a victim of a crime.
Okay, so it's a crime scene now.
It's a crime scene now. And your drone footage. It's now Exhibit A in a potential murder trial.
And if I've just been recording willy-nilly, filming other hikers, or worse, I've been messing with the files.
You enter the chain of custody nightmare. We define the proper workflow as originals preserved, working copies created, handoffs logged.
Explain that.
The original file from the SD card is like the DNA sample. You never, ever touch it. You make a copy, a working copy, and you do all your analysis on that. And every time that file changes hands, it's logged. Who had it, when, and why.
So what's the career-ending mistake?
Editing the original file. Maybe you think, oh, I'll just trim the boring parts to make it smaller to email.
Or I'll brighten it up, change the contrast to make the person easier to see.
Fatal error. The defense attorney will stand up in court and argue, you manipulated the evidence, and they might be right.
And the other one was just texting it.
Oh yeah. A cop says, hey, just text me that clip. And you do. Now that file is on a personal phone, unencrypted, outside the official system. You've just broken the chain of custody. It's compromised.
The sources say, if you can't prove who had the file and that it hasn't been altered, the case could be thrown out. That is heavy.
It is. A case could be lost because of poor data handling. That's why the best operators treat every single flight like it's going to court.
That's a powerful mindset. Let's talk about the tools that help us do this right. Section 3, gear and tactics. The tools of the trade. The first thing the source mentions isn't a specific drone, it's a concept. Time to information.
Right. This is such a key insight. New pilots and a lot of departments buying their first drone, they obsess over image quality, 4K, cinematic motion, all that.
The cool factor.
The cool factor. Incident commanders don't care. They want detail. The goal isn't cool shots. It's getting actionable information to the command post fast.
They mentioned the golden window. What's that?
The first 5 to 10 minutes of an incident, that's when the chaos is highest and good information is most valuable. Overwatch, perimeter awareness, finding heat signatures. If you can get a drone up in 60 seconds and tell the fire chief the fire is spreading to the north roof of the building next door, you are invaluable.
And if it takes you 15 minutes to set up because you're fiddling with camera settings and swapping lenses.
The window is closed, the roof is already on fire, speed and simplicity are key.
Okay, so let's talk payloads, the eyes, specifically thermal. The jargon here is EOIR, electro-optical infrared. What are we looking for in a good thermal camera?
You need high-quality thermal. The resolution really matters. The sources specifically mention sensors like a boson plus with 640 by 512 resolution. Those numbers are important.
Why? What's the difference?
Low-res thermal makes a person look like a vague, warm blob. It could be a person, it could be a warm rock, it could be a deer. High-res thermal lets you see limbs, movement, posture. You can say, I have a heat signature consistent with the human form and they appear to be crawling. That's actionable intel.
And zoom. But there's a huge distinction made between real zoom and digital zoom.
Crucial. This is not a small detail. Real zoom optical zoom is created by lenses moving. It allows for what we call standoff operations. You can read a license plate or see if a suspect is holding a weapon from 300, 400, 500 feet away.
So you're safe.
You're safe. The drone is out of earshot. You're not escalating the situation. Digital zoom, on the other hand, is just cropping in on the image you already have. It gets pixelated and useless really fast.
Plus there's the spotlight and speaker. I've seen these. The drone has a loudspeaker attached.
Yeah, and a powerful light. They are incredibly effective for communication without escalation. Instead of sending an officer into a dangerous, unknown situation, the drone flies over and a voice from the sky says, "This is the police. We see you. Wave if you can hear me."
That must be psychologically very powerful.
It is. Or for guiding a lost hiker. Stay where you are. We see you with our thermal camera. Help is coming to your location from the north. It de-escalates and provides reassurance.
The sources suggest organizing gear into 3 kits. I think this is a great framework for listeners trying to picture how a professional team would set up.
It's all about being mission ready. You don't take a sledgehammer to fix a watch. Kit 1 is your patrol or rapid response kit.
The one in the car.
Exactly. This is a drone like a DJI Matrix 30 or a Skydio X10. It's designed for fast deployment, 60 to 120 seconds from case to air. And it has to be weather tolerant, IP55 rated, so it can fly in the rain. It lives in the trunk, always ready.
Okay, kit 2.
Kit 2 is for scene documentation. This is for after the incident, when the dust settles. Crash reconstruction, crime scene mapping. This kit is all about precision.
So higher resolution cameras.
Higher resolution, and things like RTK, real-time kinematic positioning for centimeter-level accuracy. This isn't for finding a bad guy. It's for creating court-safe documentation of a scene.
And kit 3.
Indoor confined. This is a totally different beast. These drones have caged props.
So they can bump into walls.
They can bump into walls, ceilings, whatever, and just keep flying. This is for flying inside a warehouse searching for a suspect, or in a disaster scenario, flying into a collapsed structure to look for survivors.
There is a tactical warning here regarding gear, though, and it's a good one.
Yo.
Aim your payload at the mission, not the neighborhood.
This goes right back to sensor discipline. Just because you have a 200x zoom doesn't mean you should use it to satisfy your curiosity and look into an apartment window 3 blocks away.
That's what they call surveillance theater.
Exactly. High-tech gear actually increases your privacy risk because it's so capable. It demands that you be more disciplined, not less. With great power comes great responsibility.
Let's put all this theory into practice. Section 4, case files. We're going to walk through some specific scenarios and see the difference between a rookie and a veteran.
Let's do it. This is where the rubber meets the road.
Scenario A, the missing person. It's dusk, getting dark. Police request help finding an elderly person with dementia who has wandered off near a tree line that backs onto a residential area.
Okay, a classic high-stakes scenario. The rookie move here is panic launching. They hear missing person, they throw the drone up, and they start flying around frantically, looking at the screen, hoping to just stumble across something.
They're just spraying and praying with the camera.
Exactly. The veteran move is totally different. Before the props even spin, they do what's called intake. They find the incident commander, and they ask 2 questions. Who am I reporting to? And where is the search box? Show me the boundaries on a map.
Why does that matter so much? It feels like you're wasting time.
It's the opposite. It saves time and protects you. The veteran establishes a clear, defined area to search. That improves efficiency. And by defining the boundary, they also define what is out of bounds.
The neighborhood.
The neighborhood. The veteran explicitly states in the briefing, we will avoid filming homes. Our flight path will stay over the tree line. Then they fly a systematic pattern, usually a lawnmower pattern, back and forth, using the thermal camera.
And the communications are different too, right?
Oh, night and day. The rookie gets excited and shouts into the radio, I think I see him over by the big rock.
Which might not be him.
It might be a deer. The ground team wastes 20 minutes chasing a deer. The veteran is calm and precise. They say, I have a possible heat source consistent with a person, marking GPS coordinates now. They don't guess identity. They provide data.
Okay, scenario B. The barricaded person, high risk, a suspect is in a house, possibly armed.
The danger here is mission creep. You're up there, you have your drone in a stable hover, providing overwatch on the suspect's house. It can get boring.
So the rookie gets curious.
The rookie gets curious. They think, while we're up, let's just take a little peek at the neighbor's backyard, see if anyone is hiding there.
That sounds reasonable, though. Isn't that just checking for officer safety?
It's only reasonable if the incident commander has tasked you to do it based on credible information. If you just start scanning the neighbor's property on your own initiative, you are conducting a warrantless search.
Ah, there it is.
The best practice is standoff distance. You use your zoom, you set no capture defaults for the surrounding houses in your flight plan, and your comms are factual only, no speculation.
Not? He looks nervous.
No. Its front door is opening. A vehicle is approaching from the west. You are a sensor, not a commentator.
Scenario C. This one feels like the trickiest one. The protest or crowd management? The police want safety coverage of a protest.
This is the ethical tripwire. The risk is that your legitimate public safety operation looks exactly like mass surveillance to the people on the ground.
Which has a chilling effect on lawful activity. People might stop protesting because they feel like they're being watched by the government.
Right. It destroys community trust. So the strategy here has to be incredibly strict and transparent. The veteran pilot will recommend wide shots only. You focus on logistics, crowd flow, traffic bottlenecks, potential escape routes in case of an emergency.
So you're looking at the crowd, not the people in it.
Perfectly said. You never track individuals who are not committing a crime. You never zoom in on faces. The moment you do, you cross a line.
And what about the data retention? What happens to the footage afterwards?
This is critical. You don't keep it just in case. Your agency needs a strict data governance policy. If no criminal activity that requires investigation was captured, you delete the footage according to your policy. You have to be able to prove you aren't building a secret database of protesters.
Okay, last one. Scenario D, the after-the-fact request. This is the one we touched on earlier. An officer comes up to you the next day, maybe in the hallway, and says, hey, great job yesterday. Can you just text me that clip you took of the suspect's car?
It's so casual. It feels friendly, like you're helping out a colleague. But the response has to be scripted and professional.
What do you say?
You say, I can preserve the originals immediately to ensure they're safe. For an official release, I just need a formal request through the evidence portal or whatever your department's procedure is.
Why do you have to be so stiff and formal about it?
to protect everyone. You protect yourself, the operator. You protect the client, the police force. And most importantly, you protect the investigation. If you just casually text that clip, you break the chain of custody. You expose that officer to accusations of mishandling evidence. You are actually protecting them and the case by saying no to the casual request.
It's the evidence-ready mindset.
Always, every time.
This brings us to Section 5, the professional mindset. We've talked about the rookie versus the veteran, but what really separates the best-in-class programs from just the good flyers?
It's the governance gap. It's not about stick skills. The best drone pilots I know are not necessarily the best FPV racers. They're the best planners. The source material lists what they call the 4 gates of a green flight. A best-in-class operator doesn't fly unless all 4 of those gates are open.
What are they?
1, aviation legality. Gate 1, can I fly? 2, mission authority. Am I tasked by the right person? 3, privacy legality. Can I record? And 4, this is the big one, ethical restraint.
Ethical restraint. That's the one that feels subjective and fuzzy.
It is, which is why we need tests for it. This is how you handle mission creep, that slow slide from a targeted public safety operation into general surveillance. The sources propose 3 ethical tests you should ask yourself before every flight: necessity, proportionality, and minimization.
Okay, break those down.
Necessity. Do we actually need a drone for this, or do we just want one because it's cool? Could 2 officers in a car do this job better? Proportionality. Is using a thermal camera with 200x zoom overkill for a simple noise complaint? Are we using a tool that is proportional to the problem?
And minimization.
And minimization. Are we set up to collect only what we absolutely need and nothing more?
It's like, just because you can bring a bazooka to a knife fight doesn't mean you should.
Exactly. And this extends to liability and contracts, which is, boring but important. If you are a private contractor flying for police, which is becoming more common, you need written terms. Who owns the data? Who is the controller of that personal information under privacy law?
You need to have that figured out before something goes wrong.
Yes. And what happens if you mess up? Say you're flying and you accidentally record a clear shot of a neighbor's backyard you shouldn't have. What do?
The rookie deletes it and pretends it never happened.
The rookie deletes it. The veteran applies the near-miss mindset. In aviation, if 2 planes almost crash, that's a near miss. You report it, you analyze it, and you fix the system so it doesn't happen again. You should treat a privacy mistake the same way.
So you document it.
You document it. You lock the footage so no one can see it. You report it to your privacy officer, and you update your standard operating procedure, your SOP, to prevent it in the future. You learn from it. You don't just hide it.
That is such a mature way to look at it. It stops being about getting away with it and starts being about professional integrity and continuous improvement.
That is the only way to build and maintain public trust, because eventually the public and the courts will ask questions.
So let's wrap this up. We've covered a lot of ground. What are the key takeaways for someone listening who wants to do this right or wants to start a program?
First, remember the mnemonics. They really work. For Canada, perimeter equals permission. If the yellow tape is up, you don't fly unless you're on the team.
And for the U.S.?
For the U.S., TFR stops, RID tattles. Check the airspace for temporary flight restrictions, and remember, you're being watched electronically by remote ID. There's no hiding.
And the overarching mindset
is the evidence mindset. Treat every flight like it's going to end up in front of a judge. Preserve your originals, log everything, and for goodness sake, don't text clips.
I want to leave the listeners with a final provocative thought that came to me while reading all this. We're talking a lot about the pilot's decision-making. The human in the loop, don't look in the window, don't track the protester.
Right, it's all about pilot discipline.
But looking forward, drones are becoming more and more autonomous. We already have drone as first responder or DFR programs where the drone launches itself from a box on a roof and flies to a 911 call on its own.
That is the future we are barreling towards. The pilot is in a command center miles away just watching a screen.
So if the human isn't holding the sticks, who is responsible for the sensor discipline?
That is the multi-million-dollar question, isn't it? The pilot becomes a system manager. The ethics aren't about how you move your thumbs on a controller anymore. They are about how you program the machine.
Are we coding these privacy boundaries into the software?
Does the drone's AI know not to look in the window? Can it automatically pixelate faces in a crowd unless a crime is happening? The ethics of the future are going to be algorithmic. We're going to be debating code, not just conduct.
That is something to chew on. The ethics of the code, not just the operator.
It's the next great frontier in this space.
Well, until the robots take over completely, It's up to you, the person holding the controller, to fly right. Verify your local regulations, CARS or FAA, and adopt that veteran mindset today.
Stay safe, stay legal, and keep your data locked down. That's a wrap on today's mission, Commander. See above, go beyond, get ahead. For more training, tools, and intel, head to skycommander.ca. If you learned something new, share it, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star debrief.